Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you're new. Thank you for taking time out of your day to check the video out. We have more PlayStation news, rumors, and leaks to go over and cover today. And we're starting here with an interesting report regarding an update that's going to be coming to the PS5 and the PS5 Pro, a new mode of some sort. So this is coming from PlayStation Lifestyle. They say the PS5 and PS5 Pro are reportedly getting a new developer mode that signals a major development according to insiders. A known Sony leaker has gotten hold of documents which suggest the company is rolling out a, quote, low power mode for both consoles. Enabling it would draw less power and low energy consumption while running games. The leak comes from none other than YouTuber Moore's Law is Dead, who was the first insider to leak the PS5 Pro and internal Sony documents with its specifications, prompting an official copyright strike. Now, Moore's Law is Dead claims that they have similar documents with information about the said low-power developer mode. Without going into too much technical jargon, it seems that this mode will run games with reduced specifications. Moore's Law is Dead is convinced that this mode is designed for games to run on the rumored new PlayStation Handheld. Here's what the low power mode will reportedly do. So it's going to limit the CPU to 8 threads. It's going to reduce the GPU clocks by 15%, cut GDDR6 bandwidth in half, reduce 3D audio processing performance by 75%, limits PS5 Pro to 36 compute units, no PSSR or VR support. The idea here is that targeting this mode will ensure that there is a version of each game that runs on the upcoming handheld as well. Another known leaker, Kepler L2, agrees with Moore's Law is Dead's theory. Quote, this is 100% an emulated performance profile for the handheld since the biggest weakness of that APU is memory bandwidth, and this profile is reducing PS5 bandwidth, end quote. So this is something that I think is going a little bit under the radar, given everything that's going on right now. But what we are looking at is essentially, Sony prepping the PlayStation 5 and the PS5 Pro and just the PlayStation 5 development environment for a dedicated handheld. And it's important to understand that we are not talking about a successor to the Portal, right, which is a streaming-only handheld. This is something that's going to be premium. It's going to be probably pretty beefy, and it's going to be able to run games natively. And the idea is Sony wants to make development for this handheld as smooth and easy as possible, and so by enabling this kind of low power mode, it should make it very easy for developers to make games run on this handheld. Now, apparently there is no mandate as of right now that developers will have to do this for their games, but again, the idea is if they make it easy enough, developers will naturally feel inclined to do this. So yeah, really interesting stuff here. You know, the handheld space is getting more and more interesting by the week, and it's going to be very interesting to see this future PlayStation handheld whenever Sony's ready to reveal it. Moving on to the next topic, though, I just want to let you guys know I'm not going to be showing any footage in the background just in case you don't want to see anything more of Death Stranding 2, but there was an official live-streamed presentation late last night, actually, on the official PlayStation YouTube channel. I think it was about an hour and a half long, where it was Hideo Kojima and Jeff Keighley and multiple actors that are starring in Death Stranding 2 kind of talking about the game, and Kojima going, you know, deep into his reasoning behind why he did this and why he's doing that. But most importantly, we saw more gameplay. We got like a new cutscene. We actually got like a little boss battle. So again, not putting that footage in the background just in case you don't want to see anything more. But if you're somebody who does want to see more of Death Stranding 2, maybe you didn't realize this was a thing. So, you know, just here to basically let you know. And yes, the game looks amazing. And yeah, just 17 days away now. Moving on from that, we have some new information regarding Ghost of Yotei. The first thing I want to cover is just kind of letting everybody know, in case you missed it, that there will be another State of Play in July. If you watched the most recent State of Play, they teased Ghost of Yotei, and it was a little bit silly because it was like one of those things where it's an announcement within an announcement. But they teased Ghost of Yotei, and then they said, well, we're actually not showing it right now, but tune in next month for a full dedicated deep dive State of Play focused on Ghost of Yotei, and even though that announcement was a little bit annoying because they featured it inside of a State of Play and you thought you were going to get a look at Ghost of Yotei right then and there, I actually think this is great. I do remember when Sony did their dedicated State of Play for Ghost of Tsushima back in 2020, and it was awesome, man. And to know that they're going to be doing that again and giving it the same treatment, I'm actually very excited about that. So I just have a feeling that maybe some people may have missed this because, I mean, this was basically like E3 week where you have multiple showcases happening, so many game reveals, it's easy to kind of lose track of this stuff. So all we're waiting for now is that official date for when it's going to happen. But continuing to talk about Ghost of Yotei, we have some new information here. This is coming from The Gamer. They say when Ghost of Yotei launches on PlayStation 5 this October, one of the franchise's most popular side missions will return. That much was revealed via the game's ESRB rating, which was revealed at some point over the last week. The upcoming PS5 title, which will be rated M for mature, by the way, will bring back the hot spring scenes, only this time instead of Jin Sakai, it'll be Yotei's female protagonist, Atsu. During the course of the game, a female character's exposed buttocks is depicted in a hot spring, the USB rating detailed. Beyond confirming that one of the franchise's side missions will be back, the ESRB rating did shed some new light on the game itself. For instance, you'll have access to spears and rifles in addition to the usual katanas and bows. So the next paragraph I'm actually not going to read because it goes into extreme detail about the things you're going to be able to do in this game. All I will say is that if you're wondering if this game is going to have extreme violence and the gore factor based off of this description, it absolutely is going to be. But it says here that sake will also be consumable in the game, and if minigames are more your speed, there's a drinking minigame apparently. Interestingly enough, there's no mention of animals, controlling animals, or animal attacks, which seems to be a key element of the game. So yeah, that one's a little bit interesting. We'll have to see what's going on there, but there you go, man. We're getting a little bit more information about what to expect for Ghost of Yotei. And yes, people were curious if the hot springs, you know, that mini game or that feature, I should say, because it's not really a mini game. They were wondering if that was going to be returning, and it is. Moving on to the next topic, and it's actually just kind of covering something about the most recent State of Play that I think is worth highlighting. This is being reported by Push Square. They say the latest State of Play, which aired just a couple of days ago, was apparently the most viewed ever, with 2.8 million views at the time of writing, and I think it's climbed since then. The broadcast is comfortably above the Horizon Forbidden West dedicated live stream, as well as 2022's Summer State of Play. It'll be really interesting to see if Ghost of Yotei's upcoming broadcast can beat these. It's worth underlining that this is not the most viewed PlayStation live stream ever. That accolade is reserved for the manufacturer's various PS5 reveal broadcasts and PlayStation showcases it aired in 2021 and 2023 respectively. But as far as State of Plays go, this is the biggest. What's interesting is that the branding has clearly been growing with each successive installment, as the fourth largest State of Play of all time was the one it held in February earlier this year. So 2 of the top 5 are from 2025 alone. To put in perspective just how successful the latest State of Play was, it has accrued considerably more views in a little over 24 hours than 2016's famous E3 press conference has amassed over the past 9 years. So yeah, I had to highlight this because, you know, when State of Plays happen, it feels like they're always somewhat divisive, but for people wondering why Sony continues to stick with the State of Play branding and do it in the way that they have, where it's like one every 3 to 4 months, it's because it's working. It's because no matter what anybody thinks of the latest State of Play, it just broke a record and it's now the most viewed. And you do have to wonder like where the showcase fits in with all of this. Like, is Sony done with showcases? Maybe they're only going to reserve showcases for really big moments, like during a console reveal or something like that, or within the launch year of a console. I could see them doing something like that, but there you go, in case you were wondering. Moving on to the final set of topics here, I just want to let you guys know that apparently Sony's 2025 business segment meeting will be happening on June 12th/13th. It's going to differ depending on your time zone, but I actually came across this thanks to William Aguilar over on Twitter, And he says there will be a presentation for each of the different segments on the company: games, movies, music, etc. The games and network services business segment will be headed by both Hideaki Nishino, who is the president and CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment, and Herman Hulst, who is the CEO of the Studio Business Group at Sony Interactive Entertainment. And the length of each presentation and fireside chat videos will be about 20 minutes. And it's worth noting that each video was recorded in late May of 2025. And finally, he says, important note here, this will be the first business segment meeting under the new CEO of Sony, Hiroki Totoki, and the new CEO of SIE PlayStation, Hideaki Nishino. This will be where they update everyone on their plans for PlayStation and if the strategy is changing or remaining the same. And that's why I wanted to highlight this, because, yeah, this business segment meeting is going to be where, if there's going to be any signaling towards some kind of significant shift in the short term or the midterm or the long term or whatever it's going to be, this is where we're going to find out. You know, this is the first time we're getting something like this with this new leadership. But guys, that's going to do it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative. If you did, be sure to leave it a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.